Hello, I'm gonna talk today about an app that I really love. I must admit, I am really obsessed about this app, and it's called Wheel of Names. Okay, and it's a fantastic tool, I believe, for digital learning, and I'm gonna to do in front of the class, but also for the students to work on their own, and I'll show you how embedded, well, linked, not embedded because it cannot be embedded, onto OneNote so the kids can basically in the middle of the lesson use technology. So perfect tool to include blended learning in a lesson with a lot of impact. I can assure you I've used this not only during lockdown, I used it before the lockdown, but now I'm using it together with OneNote and the kids respond extremely well. So I'm going to tell you basically how it works because it's extremely easy. You just go to the internet and go to Google. You can do a Google search and you just write Wheel of Names and it will tell you to this lovely webpage. I love this one because it's free and you can actually save all your work. That is a fantastic plus. And the idea of Wheel of Names is supposed to be a name picker. That's what it is about. Okay, that was how it started. So when you open, you always end up with this group of names, but I really think that is really boring. So what I do is I get rid of that and I add here whatever I want to practice. This is fantastic for retrieval practice, for plenaries. Sometimes I've used a whole lesson using this. Okay, for key verbs and key vocabulary to practice anything that I want the kids to know really well. This is fantastic for overlearning, basically. So what I do, I'm going to show you one I've already done. The beauty of it is that you can write, keywords in here. You can write questions. You can have equations in here. You can have, you name it, whatever you want. It could be something that the kids just very quickly need to answer, but it could be something that the kids need to work on, like for example, like a mini essay name, and whatever whenever they spin the wheel, they will have to write down a paragraph or whatever came up in the wheel. So it's endless, and it's your imagination on how you want to use it. I love it as well because you also can add an image. So this is brilliant. You can go to your computer and add an image. So this is brilliant because you can have something that you want the kids to describe, or if you are a maths teacher, it could be an equation that you saved before, that you've written on the board and you saved as an image, and this could be full of equations, something for them to write. Up to you. Or you can have a mixture of word and images as well. So I'm going to show you a little bit how I've used it because I don't want to waste my time writing my things. You can see how much I got loads of them, how much basically I've used this one. So for example, I'm going to open this one. This Saturday I did literally last week with my bottom set year 11. So what I've got here is loads of, you can see, very long questions, I think very long sentences on different tenses with the topic of work. This is what I wanted to revise. So what it does is that once you type this up, okay, what you do then is you save it. So once you're done, you come to save. Okay, you would give it a name. Okay, so this way is part-time jobs. I'm gonna call it another one, calling it test, for example, just to see you basically how you've done it. You can save it with the name of another existing well. You save it, and once you save it, this is the you got it here. You can share it. Okay, so I'll show you. How you do that. So you go to share, you go to continue, and you can share it two ways. You can share it so they can edit. So this is great. You're going to share with a colleague, okay, because you've done something and someone in your is doing the same topic, so they can then edit it and save it with their own name. Or this is how I share it with the students. They should be able only to spin, so that none of the students will be able to mess up, with your will. So you can continue, and this is the link that you can copy. And then what I do is I put the link into OneNote, okay, and the kids then have access to the wheel as well during through OneNote. This is how simple it is. How I use this from a teaching and learning point of view. First, I always start doing it as a whole class activity, okay, whatever time it takes me, and I do it This is my choice with whiteboards, but you can use this orally. It could be questions depending on what you have. You can have, as I said, equations, and the kids need to write the question, show you, in your whiteboard or in using even their book. So this is how it works. You click, basically, you go to the spin in the wheel. Very, very simple, and it will come up, okay, with just that. So what you do now, as a whole lesson, we keep right on the board. They show me. I can give them a straight feedback. This is right. This is wrong. I can have a conversation with them. Why was that right? Why Lauren's answer was not that right? How we can improve this answer? How we can make the sentence a little bit bigger? How could it depends now how you want to work basically in your lesson. What I do always, in order to make sure that you don't get the same one, is I remove that one. So you can see here, you got loads of questions. You can be playing this for 20 minutes. What I do as well with the kids, that if they give me the right answer, for example, they give the right answer, I give point. So I make it into a game. Okay, if during the lesson they get 3 or 4 points, they get a sticker. 15 stickers in the Spanish department means that they get a merit. So they get a little bit of incentive and everybody wants to participate. Basically, this is how I do it. I do this as well with A-level students with the substantive and with questions about the syllabus. For example, we do literature and then we have, things here, and I can have things here like talk to me about Bernarda Alba, which is one of the characters in one of the books we're reading, or talk to me about how Federico García Lorca has projects the tragedy in his work La Casa de Bernarda Alba. So it could be anything like that, and the kids need to discuss. How does it work? So after doing this with the kids for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if I only go 4 or 5, it could be 5 minutes, very sharp. What the kids do then, they go, I've made actually I'm in the wrong one, apologies for this. So the kids will go to their, for example, this is basically how I do it. The kids will get this in their OneNote, and what I've done here, I just put the click, basically a link, okay, just to, there is another one here, just to check the vocabulary. So in the middle of the lesson, once you've done it, open your laptops, go to OneNote, and in your OneNote, the first thing they do have all the work commenced on the 20th of September. Click on the link first to check your vocabulary, and automatically will take the kids to this. Can you see now the kids cannot edit it because this is the link I shared with them, the non-editable one, and the kids in pairs, what they do is they're playing with the wheel with each other and they translate with each other. I don't know, very, very simple. Sometimes what I do, this one they are in English, in Spanish. But now they do it individually. If you want that to be even more meaningful, what they can do, obviously, they can divide the screen. And what I ask them to do is to write do the questions in writing. And I believe I do have, there you are, I got an example of this. So first, this is my starter lesson. When everybody comes in, the first thing they do, they go into the wheel of names for this particular week, and they're just going to be practicing mentally all these vocabulary. So they're doing retrieval practice on their own while everybody arrives and I'm getting myself sorted. And then in pairs we will do other activities I got planned. And then the second part of the lesson is they're going to play actually piedra, papel, tijeras, which is a stone, paper, and scissors, basically. So they play with that, and everyone, the person wins. They basically spin the wheel, and they basically ask the other student. You don't need to do that anyway. So they're going to do that orally, and then what they need to do, and they will finish for prep. I know I got 16 sentences in my wheel of names. So what I want them to do is that they're gonna divide. They're gonna divide their class, their screens, and with their screens basically divided in the things. What they need to do, okay, is to have the screen, the wheel, and the other screen, the OneNote, and they're gonna write down, okay, very simple. What they're gonna do is they're gonna write down their sentences in Spanish, and I created the box for them, so it's nice and tidy, and that's what they're gonna do. That's the 16 one. So they're gonna do just with 2 wheels. I do have a starter. I do have then something I prepared, which is not here as the main thing of the lesson. Then they do have the oral work, and then they're going to have writing. And I think that for prep, they will have to finish probably this writing. This is a low ability set, sorry. So they will have to probably to finish it and then to do something else like learning the vocabulary with a Quizlet. So that will be my lesson. And it took me literally 5 minutes to prepare using the wonderful wheel of names, which is basically here. Just for you to do things, you can create this and you can use that as a full screen. So when you're playing with the kids, it's even more, it's a bit bigger. Things that you can do as well is that you can customize. You don't like those colors. You basically, the ticking sound, can go, basically you got different sounds because there was a ticking sound with it. You can spin it slowly. You can spin, how long you want it to make it more interesting. It's really up to you. After spin, you can decide basically how you want. You want applause, you don't want anything. You can choose the colors, and you can even have an image in the middle of it. That means basically here you can get an image, and you can make it customized to make you really, really pretty. But to be honest, it's no need. This is just a fantastic, I think, app that you can use yourself in front of the classroom, and the kids in the current scenario that we're in can use on their own. And one little last tip: if you got here in one of my in my Chrome toolbar, I do have this option, which is basically allows me to have different screens. And this is brilliant because I can divide my screen. At the moment it's only 1 by 1. I can divide it up to 4 screens. So what I've done, as you can see here, I could open in each screen a different wheel. And then what I've done in the past is I would have in one sentence of each wheel, which will make a little paragraph. So this is for languages, or obviously works brilliantly. I don't know if another subject will be as useful. I can see working as well in English language as well. Especially you can have, you want the kids to write a story. You can have in one wheel the beginning. You can have a little bit of what do you want it to be the middle of the story, and then you can have you got some more, 2 for the middle and 1 for the end. The kids need to write a little story verbally, for example, or not just write it, or orally a story using the different elements. So that gives you a little bit of mobility, and so it's not all the time the same way. I can show you another time how you add this add-on bar, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. It has definitely revolutionized my teaching, and again, this worked particularly well during the lockdown, because what I would ask the kids is basically we would have a starter, basically as I would do in my lesson this week. Then they went working on their own OneNote as evidence. They've been doing the spinning. They had to write down, or sometimes I would ask them to insert a voice. They had to translate it, and I had to listen to all the 16 or 15 or 10 sentences. So that was evidence they had been doing the work, and the kids absolutely loved it. Thank you very much.